My mother-in-law stole my baby. What she did next haunts me forever. Hey everyone, have you ever felt like your life just shattered? Like you woke up one morning and the world you knew was just gone? I'm sitting here today not really for sympathy, maybe just to get this weight off my chest, this cold, heavy thing that's been sitting here for years. My name is Sarah, and I need to tell you what happened. I need to talk about my mother-in-law, the woman who smiled at my wedding, who held my hand during labor, the woman who stole my baby. But it's not just the stealing. Oh God, no. It's what she did, asterisk, next asterisk. That's the part that burrows under my skin, the part that replays in my nightmares. It haunts me forever. It started, like most nightmares do, on a perfectly ordinary day. I was a new mom, completely blissed out, sleep-deprived, but utterly in love with my 6-month-old daughter, Lily. She was everything, my tiny miracle. My husband, Mark, he's a good man, truly, maybe a bit too attached to his mother, Brenda. My mother-in-law, Brenda, on the surface, the perfect grandmother, widowed young, raised Mark single-handedly, always doting, always helpful. She'd come over almost every day, fluttering around Lily, cooing, bringing meals. "You just rest, Sarah, dear," she'd say, her smile wide and warm. "Let Grandma take care of her precious girl." And I let her. Who wouldn't want that kind of help, right? I thought I was lucky. So damn lucky. But there were things, little things, glitches in the matrix. Sometimes I'd catch this look in her eyes when she held Lily. It wasn't just love, it was possessive, almost hungry. She started calling Lily by strange names, old-fashioned names that didn't belong to my baby. When I'd gently correct her, she'd just laugh it off. "Oh, silly me, must be my age." Then there were the clothes. She'd offer to do Lily's laundry, bring it back smelling like lavender, but sometimes, a little outfit I loved would be missing, replaced by something old. Something eerily familiar, like clothes from a bygone era. Again, she'd brush it off. "Must have gotten mixed up, dear. Don't you worry your pretty little head." And Mark? My dear Mark? He saw nothing. Or maybe he chose not to see. "Mom just loves her, Sarah. You're being hormonal, oversensitive." He worshipped his mother. In his eyes, Brenda could do no wrong. His blindness. It paved the way for the horror that was coming. I felt so alone, these little anxieties prickling at me, but who could I tell? I told myself I was imagining it. Just new mom jitters. Oh, how I wish I'd trusted my gut. Then came asterisk, that asterisk morning. I had a postpartum checkup. Brenda insisted on coming over to watch Lily. "You go take care of yourself, sweetie," she chirped, bouncing Lily on her knee. "Grandma's got this. We'll have a lovely little morning." I kissed my baby girl goodbye as she napped in her crib. A flicker of unease, cold and sharp, shot through me, but I pushed it down. "It's just 2 hours," I told myself. What could possibly happen in 2 hours? When I got back, the house was silent. Deathly silent. No baby gurgles, no humming from Brenda. That unease from earlier. It exploded into full-blown panic. My heart hammered against my ribs. I ran to Lily's room. The crib was empty. The blankets were still warm, indented where her tiny body had been. But she was gone. "Brenda? Mark?" My voice cracked. I searched the house like a madwoman. Living room, kitchen, bathroom, empty. Then I saw it. On the kitchen counter, a single sheet of paper. Brenda's familiar, loopy handwriting. My hands shook as I picked it up. Just one sentence. One sentence that ripped my world apart. "Lily needs her real mother. I'm taking her where she belongs." Her real mother? What the hell was she talking about? I asterisk her mother. Where did she take her? Where did she take my baby? A scream tore from my throat, raw and animalistic. The scream of a mother whose child has been ripped away. I called Mark, sobbing hysterically, barely able to form words. He didn't believe me at first. She probably just took her for a walk, calm down. But when I read him the note, silence. Pure, terrified silence on the other end. We called the police. They came, took statements, asked neighbors. No one saw anything. Brenda had vanished, utterly vanished, taking my daughter with her. The hours that followed were torture. Every phone ring, every car door slam sent a jolt of false hope through me, followed by crushing despair. Mark was a wreck, torn between the mother he adored and the horrifying reality. He kept calling her phone, over and over, straight to voicemail. He cried, blaming himself for not listening to me, for being so blind. But his regret didn't bring Lily back. The police started digging into Brenda's past, and what they found, it sent a new wave of cold dread through me. Before Mark, Brenda had another child, a daughter, a baby girl who died in infancy years ago, a grief she apparently never processed, a loss that festered. How he died, twisted into an obsession. Was that it? Did she see her lost daughter in Lily? Did she steal my baby to replace the one she lost? The thought was monstrous. She wasn't just kidnapping Lily. She was trying to erase her, trying to turn her into someone else. The first day bled into the first night. No leads, no sightings. Brenda and Lily were ghosts. I clutched one of Lily's tiny socks, inhaling her sweet baby scent, my heart shattering into a million pieces. I didn't know where my baby was. I didn't know if she was safe. All I knew was that my mother-in-law, the woman I trusted, had become a monster. And this was only the beginning. I had no idea yet what she was capable of, what she did next. That's the part that truly haunts me. The days bled into weeks, each one a fresh layer of hell. Can you even imagine? Waking up each morning and for a split second forgetting. Then the crushing weight crashes back down. Your baby is gone, stolen by her own grandmother. The house, once filled with Lily's coos and giggles, was now a mausoleum of silence. Empty rooms echoed with my grief. I barely ate. Sleep, forget it. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lily's face, heard her phantom cries. Then I'd snap awake, heart pounding, to the suffocating emptiness. I lost weight. My eyes were perpetually red-rimmed, my nerves frayed to the breaking point. I was a ghost haunting my own home. The police investigation crawled. Flyers with Lily's cherubic face were plastered everywhere. Lampposts, grocery store bulletin boards, online forums. We offered a reward. Nothing. Brenda had planned this meticulously. No credit card usage, no phone activity, no contact with anyone she knew. It was like she and Lily had simply evaporated. We'd get occasional tips. Sightings reported hours away, states away. Each one sparked a frantic, desperate hope, only to be extinguished when it turned out to be a false alarm, a case of mistaken identity. Each dead end was another knife twisting in my gut. Mark, poor Mark. He was grieving too, but his grief was tangled with shame and guilt. He couldn't look me in the eye without flinching. He knew he'd enabled her, ignored the red flags I'd tried so desperately to point out. Our relationship, already strained by Brenda's constant interference before this nightmare began, was now crumbling under the weight of this shared trauma. We existed in the same space, but miles apart emotionally. Sometimes we'd just sit in silence, the unspoken accusations hanging heavy in the air. Other times, the grief would boil over into bitter arguments, blaming each other because blaming Brenda felt too vast, too monstrous. Friends and family tried to help, of course. They brought casseroles, offered platitudes. Stay strong, you'll find her. Everything happens for a reason. Meaningless words that felt like tiny paper cuts on an open wound. How could they possibly understand the agony of not knowing? The constant gnawing fear, the physical ache in my arms where my baby should be? Then came the whispers, the sideways glances. You know how people can be. Postpartum depression, some murmured, just loud enough for me to overhear. Maybe she did something. Maybe the mother-in-law is covering for her. Can you believe that? Me? They thought I could harm my own child? The injustice of it burned like acid. Not only had I lost my daughter, but now my sanity, my very motherhood was being questioned. I felt utterly alone, pushed to the absolute brink. Losing Lily was unbearable, but facing the suspicion and judgment of the world while my heart was breaking, that was a different kind of torture. I was drowning, just completely drowning in despair. And then, one bleak afternoon, when I truly felt like I couldn't take another second of this agony, something appeared in our mailbox. A plain white envelope, no return address. Inside, a single sheet of notebook paper. On it, scrawled in shaky, unfamiliar handwriting, were just 6 words. She hasn't gone far. Look where memory began. Where memory began? Whose memory? Brenda's? What did it mean? Mark and I racked our brains. We pored over old photo albums, dredged up half-forgotten family stories. And then Mark remembered. The cabin. A small, dilapidated cabin by a lake upstate where Brenda had spent summers as a child, a place she hadn't mentioned in years, supposedly sold off long ago. But she always spoke of it with this strange, wistful intensity. Could it be? Was it possible she'd gone back there? It was a long shot, a desperate, flimsy thread of hope. But it was something asterisk. We immediately called the detective handling our case. He was skeptical, warned us it could be a cruel hoax, another dead end, but we insisted, begged him. I had to go. I couldn't just sit and wait again. The drive upstate was agonizing. Every mile felt like 100. My mind raced with terrifying possibilities. What if Lily was there? What state would she be in? What would Brenda do when she saw us? The police car pulled up short of the cabin, hidden by trees. It looked deserted, run down, windows dark. My breath hitched. Officers moved in, surrounding the small wooden structure. Mark gripped my hand, his knuckles white. Silence. An eternity of silence. Then the door burst open. Police flooded inside. More silence. My heart felt like it was going to explode. Finally, an officer emerged. His face pale, etched with confusion and something else. Horror? He walked towards us, shaking his head slowly. Miss Jones, we found your mother-in-law. My knees almost buckled. Lily? I choked out. Where's Lily? He met my desperate gaze. She's inside, but there's no baby. No baby? What did he mean, no baby? The note, the cabin, it had to be here. I tried to push past him, screaming Lily's name, but Mark and another officer held me back. Calm down, Sarah, please, Mark pleaded. The first officer continued, his voice low, strained. She's in the back bedroom. She's holding a large doll, dressed in baby clothes. She's calling it Lily. She's completely detached from reality. But we found these. He held up 2 evidence bags. One contained a small, decaying, leather-bound diary. The other held a lock of fine brown hair. My baby's hair. My blood ran cold. I snatched the diary, my fingers trembling as I flipped it open. The early pages spoke of Brenda's grief for her first daughter, the one she lost. Normal, sad entries. But then, the writing grew frantic, devolved into mad ramblings. She wrote about Lily, called her Air Incarnation, a second chance. And then, oh God, she described a ritual, a cleansing ceremony performed on Lily in this very cabin. using strange herbs, chanting under the moonlight, trying to purge Lily's spirit so the soul of her dead daughter could take its place. She thought she was saving her lost child by sacrificing mine. My stomach churned. What had she done? What did this ritual entail? And if Lily wasn't here now, where did Brenda take her asterisk after asterisk performing this monstrosity? This diary wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a far more terrifying chapter. Brenda was caught, yes, but my baby was still missing. And the question hanging in the air, thick with dread, was infinitely worse than before. What exactly did my mother-in-law do to my daughter? That diary. It wasn't just a book. It was a map into the fractured, terrifying landscape of Brenda's mind. Every page we turned, Mark, myself, the detectives, felt like descending deeper into her madness. The descriptions of the cleansing ritual were chilling, filled with bizarre references to herbs, moonlight, and releasing the old soul. But crucially, she wrote about needing to return the vessel after the spirit was freed. Return it where? To whom? There were no names, no locations, just cryptic phrases about the whispering woman and the keeper of transitions. It felt hopeless. We had Brenda in custody, but she was lost in her delusion, rocking the doll, murmuring nonsense. Trying to question her was like talking to a brick wall. She couldn't or wouldn't tell us where Lily was. The only clue we had were those cryptic references in the diary. The whispering woman. Keeper of transitions. Who could that be? We frantically retraced Brenda's steps, looked into her known associates, anyone who might fit such strange description. Weeks felt like they were slipping away again. Was Lily okay? Was she even alive? The thought was a physical pain, a constant pressure behind my eyes. Then a detective cross-referencing Brenda's old address books found a name tucked away, someone Brenda hadn't contacted in years, but who lived in a remote rural area known for eccentric residents, an elderly woman named Willow May, known locally, almost mythically, as Sister Willow. Apparently, she practiced some form of folk magic or spiritualism. Could this be the whispering woman? It felt like another desperate long shot, but it was all we had. Once again, we found ourselves driving, hearts pounding, with a mixture of fragile hope and sickening dread. Sister Willow lived in a secluded cottage, surrounded by overgrown gardens and strange wind chimes made of bone and shell. She opened the door, a tiny woman with eyes that seemed far too old and knowing. She didn't seem surprised to see the police or Mark and me frantic and wild-eyed. When the detective showed her photos of Brenda and Lily, she nodded slowly. Brenda came here, she said, her voice raspy like dry leaves rustling. Brought the little one, said the child was burdened, needed cleansing. My breath caught. Where is she? I practically screamed, lunging forward. Mark held me back. What did you do? Sister Willow looked unfazed. I helped Brenda with her ritual, as she asked. Then she said it was time for the old soul to move on. She said she had one last task. My blood ran cold. What task? Where did she take my baby? She left the child with me, Sister Willow stated calmly, gesturing inside. Said she needed safekeeping while she went to return something precious, to the Mother River. And then, from the dim interior of the cottage, came a small whimper. My heart stopped. Sister Willow stepped aside, and there, lying in a simple bassinet lined with soft cloths, was Lily. My Lily. She was thinner, paler, her eyes wide with confusion that tore at my soul. But she was alive, alive. A sob escaped me, a sound of pure, unadulterated relief. I rushed to her, scooping her into my arms, burying my face in her hair, tears streaming down my cheeks. Mark was beside me, crying too, stroking her tiny back. That moment finding her safe. It was like coming up for air after drowning. But the relief was short-lived, tainted by Sister Willow's words. Return something to the Mother River? The detectives pressed her. What did Brenda take? A small wooden box, Sister Willow replied. She called it the last vessel of memory. We left Sister Willow with the police for further questioning about her involvement, her knowledge of Brenda's state of mind. Our priority was Lily. We rushed her to the nearest hospital. Physically, miraculously, she was okay. Dehydrated, underweight, but unharmed. The psychological impact, though, that was an unknown, terrifying variable. Days later, the police found Brenda's car abandoned near a bridge over the wide, fast-flowing river, locales called Mother River. There was no sign of Brenda, but downstream, washed up on the bank, they found a small, empty wooden box. Beside it, neatly placed, was a pair of Brenda's shoes. She was never found. Did she jump? Did she simply walk away into oblivion? We'll never know. Brenda vanished, leaving behind a wake of destruction and unanswered questions. The box, we presumed, held the last remnants of her lost daughter. Maybe a lock of hair, a tiny garment returned to the river in her final, desperate act. We moved away, put hundreds of miles between us and that cabin, that river, those memories. Mark stepped up, became the protective husband and father I always knew he could be, shedding the skin of the son who couldn't see past his mother's facade. We tried to rebuild, but you can't just erase something like this. It changes you, fundamentally. Lily grew healthy and bright, but sometimes I see a shadow cross her eyes, a moment of stillness, a faraway look that sends a chill down my spine. She has night terrors occasionally, waking up screaming for reasons she can't explain. The doctors say it's normal, maybe residual trauma she won't consciously remember, but I remember. I remember the diary, the ritual, the asterisk intent asterisk. And that's what haunts me. It wasn't just the kidnapping, the physical act of taking her. It was the violation, the attempt to overwrite her soul, to extinguish my daughter and replace her with a ghost. Brenda didn't succeed, thank God, but she tried asterisk, and that attempt, that dark, twisted intention aimed at the very essence of my child. That's the horror that stays with me. That's the echo in the quiet moments, the fear that lingers beneath the surface of our new, carefully constructed life. Brenda may be gone, swallowed by the river or her own madness, but what she did, the ripples of it, they continue, and I live with the haunting knowledge of just how dark the human heart can get, even behind the most loving smile. Trust your gut, everyone. Always trust your gut. Sometimes the monsters are the ones you least expect.